Good afternoon, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, I give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I praise the Most High blesses this lesson today and gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to get more clarity of the events that are happening today, in order for us to make ourselves prepared for the events that are soon to come on the earth. Been doing a lot of studying, getting a lot of information downloaded, and I was listening to Elder Al Yil's video today, and it was amazing the information that he brought out. But something that really got to me was I had been studying about the real Babylon for the last couple days, and I had come to the conclusion that the Babylon, of course, was not America, but that Babylon is the church. And the abominable church, the first church, the Catholic Church, which is set up and run by the devil. I was actually talking to my wife this morning about that whole topic, and talking about dumb diversus and everything else and how it fits the church. And Elder Al Yil is actually a couple of states over from me, and the fact that we're on the same wavelength just confirms to me that the Spirit is working with both of us and bringing us down the same paths, and really making his word known through the two of us. So I was going to wait and, let people kind of catch up on the videos that I have been doing, give an opportunity to kind of catch up on some of the videos. But then the Most High impressed on me to get my buck back in the office and make some more videos. So when the Most High moves me to do that, I have to be obedient and do what he wants me to do. So I'm bringing you guys some of this information that's been downloaded to me, and in order to give more clarity and understanding, and showing how this is, the daughter of Babylon. Yes, the Americas. But how, the church and even a lot of Hebrews pretty much have taken on this Catholic doctrine of the fact that these lands over here in America are going to be destroyed because of the blood that was shed here in America. But see, that still goes with only reading the Bible. If you only read the Bible, then you seem to think that the people will say, well, our people were done worse here in America. No, they weren't. How do you come to that conclusion when 10 tribes were in the islands in Mexico, Central America, South America? There's 10 tribes that were absolutely murdered and destroyed. So how is it that the death and the suffering of 2 tribes is somehow worse than the death and suffering of 10? But when people are still stuck with just one book, limiting the Most High to only one book, then they're really forced to try to make absolutely every single thing that they hear fit into that one book. Prime example was the last video talking about the Ark. And it was funny because some people were like, well, what about Second Maccabees? Second Maccabees says this. And what about, Jubilees or Jasher? It says this. I said, well, what about, I'll pose a question to you. Well, what about all the information from the 10 tribes? You're trying to take information, you're trying to take events that happened over here and then make them fit the Southern Kingdom's records. And you can't do that. There's going to be we'll get everything explained to us in the Most High's time. We're not going to understand everything and how everything works out. Here a little, there a little. Precept upon precept. We're trying to take a lot of information from the 10 tribes and decipher it and get understanding. People are very impatient and seeming to think that the Most High needs to download everything to us right away. This takes a lot of time, and it takes the Holy Spirit, and then she will reveal things on her time, on the Most High's time. Just be happy that the Most High is revealing things to us now. Maybe next week he'll reveal more things to us. But it's all about being patient. And it's funny how, when someone brings something new information, it's you want, well, what about this? And where's this? And where's that? Where's Egypt? And where's this? And, where's Canaan? And I'm like, go ask Esau. Instead of getting upset at the person who's bringing you the message, get upset at the one who's hidden all of your records, hidden all of your information, hidden your identity, hidden your land, hidden your laws and the way you're supposed to be living. Get mad at the one who's done the wrongs to you. Don't get upset at the one who's pointing out the wrongs that have been perpetrated on our people. Your anger or frustration should be levied to the person that did these things to you. The Most High is now raising up men to give you knowledge and understanding in order to start to bring you back to knowledge and understanding of Him. But don't get upset because you want things done on your time. This isn't McDonald's. You can't have everything your way. You can't have everything as fast as you want it. You can't have things, broken down to you as quickly as you want it. It takes a lot of time and effort to put all this information together. So as we get information, we'll share it. If you agree, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. So, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And I said, the Most High has to send the Holy Spirit in order to give understanding. I want to first start a little bit on Babylon. I'm not going to make the whole video is not going to be about Babylon. It's going to be about a couple things. Also, we're going to talk about Christopher Columbus, because really, Christopher Columbus is a huge key to Psalms 83 and everyone coming together against our people and the whole world being confederate against us. Christopher Columbus is actually a huge part of that, and we're going to get into that today. But first thing, I call it being like, we're going to talk right here. I'm going to say this is page, I think, 25 in the Book of Mormon. Let me look here real quick. So it'll be First Nephi chapter 13. We're only going to do a couple of verses here right now. We'll start at 2. And the angel said unto me, what beholdest thou? And I said, I behold many nations and kingdoms. And he said unto me, these are the nations and the kingdoms of the Gentiles. Now that will be on the other side of the Atlantic, on the other side of the ocean. It would not be over here in the Americas, okay? And it came to pass that I saw among the nations of the Gentiles the formation of a great church. That's huge information right there. There was a formation right then of a great church. Okay? Very important. And the angel said unto me, behold, the formation of a church, which is most abominable above all other churches, which slayeth the saints of the Most High, yea, and tortureth them, and bindeth them down, and yoketh them with a yoke of iron, and bringeth them down into captivity. Now, this is a future prophecy. At this time, it hadn't happened yet. But in 300, 325 AD was when this church was founded with Constantine. Now, what is the main things that this church does? It slayeth the saints of the Most High, and tortureth them, and bindeth them down, and yoketh them with a yoke of iron, and bringeth them down into captivity. Now let's go to 6. And it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw the devil, that he was the founder of it. All right? That's very important. We're going to touch on this quite a bit on the next few videos. Okay? The devil was the one who founded this church. Okay? So, if you want to find out who Babylon is, you need to find out the entity that was created that slayeth the Most High's chosen people, tortured them, bindeth them down, and put a yoke of iron on them, and brought them into captivity. If you're familiar with Dum Diversus, which is from the Catholic Church, which pretty much put us into perpetual slavery. So when you understand then that they put us in perpetual slavery, we don't have any rights, and that they pretty much own us, can do whatever they want to us and put us in captivity. They can torture us. They killed us. That was all by the Catholic Church. And when some people keep saying, well, Babylon is America, it's funny because they just ignore all this other information and they just regurgitate the same talking points. I swear, it's like I'm talking to a politician. You know, when you used to watch politicians and you would give them questions and they would just answer with whatever talking points they have? That's what now I see with Christians, and I also see with a lot of people that are in the Hebrew community. It doesn't matter how much information you say, they're going to say the same things over and over again. And what's funny is, like, they make videos every week and it's like they talk about exactly the same thing. So I call it's not even a real video anymore. It's pretty much the same talking points with a different title. So this week we're going to talk about, they're going to make up some video, but they're going to have exactly the same information, nothing new, but put a brand new title on it and act like it's something different. You know, I'm gonna put I'm gonna have a box here. I'm gonna put a bunch of crap in it. I'm just gonna put a new, give it a new name every single week and give it to you. That's pretty much what it is. Nothing new. If we give them information, they don't talk about the information. They don't try to refute the information. They just ignore it and just say the same things over and over and over again. Some people want the same vomit every single day or every single week. They want to feel good. That's what happened when we went to church. That's what happens when you're in a Catholic church and you have a missalette, and it's pretty much every year it's the same sermons at the same times of the year. Nothing new, no growth. That's in the Catholic Church, Christian Church, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon churches, and now it seems to be pretty much pervasive in the Hebrew community as well. Same information over and over again. Someone talked about, well, only Judah was scattered. All 11 tribes are still in Africa. Well, see, the reason you believe that is because you have to make every single thing fit in the Bible or the books that Esau approved for you. So you have to make it all fit. That's why you're still stuck with America is Babylon. Let me ask you a quick question. Was America around in 1492? Of course, I hope you would say no. So if the Most High sent Columbus over here in 1492 to kill the saints, and this pretty much here is saying that, Babylon or this great church right here was here to slay the saints of the Most High, torturing them, put them in yokes of iron and then bring them into captivity, then how could that be America? People keep saying America has all this blood on its hands. Well, so does Europe, because they're the ones who came over here and killed our people. So see, like, America doesn't fit because America didn't do all these things to the 10 tribes. There was no such thing as America. There's no such country at that time of America. So therefore, who's going to pay for the blood of the 10 tribes if you're only concerned with talking about America? It wasn't America. America is a relatively new country. So you can't take the sins that were perpetrated on our people by the Catholic Church and then I'll try to apply them to America. And we still are under Dum Diversus, which isn't something that America did. This is something that was actually attributed to the church. So you see that? So it can't be America. It has to be a place that was already set up before 1492, before Columbus came over here. So what you're going to find out is that the actual church, a lot of these deacons, these archdeacons, were actually the ones who, at first, Columbus was actually speaking with. They were actually the ones that were kind of giving Columbus a lot of his information about coming over here, giving him a lot of clarity on biblical aspects of, as far as prophecy is concerned. they were all very well aware that the world was broken into 4 parts, and that they had only discovered 3. They knew there was going to be a 4th part. I said that was huge information. And I'm going to bring it out a little bit later on, because they realized that once they came over here, that was a huge part of end times prophecy. When the Most High allowed the Spaniards to come over here, the vast majority of the Christian, medieval Christian nation knew that was the beginning of end times prophecy. I will get into that also in another video. So because they knew they were not allowed to come over here. This has been the biggest secret that has been held. This is what they talk about when you talk about Psalms 83. That whole Psalms 83, when they meet and everything else, you want to know what they're talking about. Let me get to Psalms 83 real fast, just in case some people here aren't sure exactly what it says. Let me go there real quick. Psalms chapter 83. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Now, they've taken crafty counsel against us, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who was hidden? We were hidden. Where were we hidden? Over here in this land, the 4th part that they had never been to. See, there's a lot of things now, once you understand what you're about the whole hidden lands, holy lands, the Americas, that's what they're talking about. Hidden ones. I mean, we weren't hidden when we were over there next to them. So they must have been referring to some people who they were not able to get into contact with. You see that? So again, they have taken crafty counsel against thy hidden of thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Now, what are they confederate in doing? Taking away the name of Israel. When you take away the name of Israel, they're also confederate in taking away our inheritance, which was the land. You see that? Excuse me. They're confederate in hiding who we are and where our land is. And I'm going to show you a prime example today of how they did it. How Psalms 83 has been played out in history books and holidays and the things that they set up. I said it's in everything, because they never want us to know who we are, and they never want us to realize that this is our land, that this is our inheritance. That's why they're still using our people to try to talk to us about Africa still. Oh no, all 11 tribes are still over there. Really? All 11 of them are over there, and only one got taken into captivity. Oh, okay. I said, but that's because Esau gave you a Bible, and then you're trying to make everything fit there. Just like when I brought up the information about the ark, and people were like, oh, well, no, that's not true because the Bible says this. We don't know exactly how all this stuff fits. And the Most High could easily have put the ark in the ground and made it pop up over here. We don't know. We weren't there. And a lot of our records have been destroyed. All I do know is that there was something over here that the priests only could handle, that they were taking a mile, a day's walk ahead of the people, and it was making them pretty much invincible against the others. So if you don't want to believe it, hey, that's cool. Don't believe it. But the Most High is bringing a lot of information, and he's weeding a lot of people out. As more of this information comes, and people say, well, I just can't rock with that big dude. I'm going to go, I just can't, I can't listen to that. All right, that's fine. Go somewhere else. That's not a problem. But check this out. We're going to get into this real quick again. At Psalms 83, they have consulted against thy hidden ones. They consulted against the people that were here. They consulted against they came together, okay? And they have consulted against the 10 tribes that were hidden over here. They've consulted against thy hidden ones. The ones that were hidden were the 10 tribes that were over here in the Americas. See, that's why they put these words here. As you get more understanding, when you go back and read the Bible, things will just pop out to you. things will just pop out right in front of your face, and you'd be like, how did I not see this before? Because it wasn't time to see it before. So go ahead now and take a look at 7. Okay. And I also saw gold and silver and silks and scarlets and fine twined linen and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots. So you start to see all the things that they were interested in. This church is interested in gold and silver, silks and scarlets and fine twined linen, things of this world, possessions of this world. Look at 8. And the angel spake unto me, saying, Behold, the gold and the silver and the silks and the scarlets and the fine twined linen and the precious clothing and the harlots are the desires of this great and abominable church. That's what they're after. They're not after saving souls. They're after gold and silver, money, possessions. Look at 9. And also for the praise of the world do they destroy the saints of the Most High and bring them down into captivity. So they destroyed the saints for the praise of the world. They destroyed us so that the rest of the world would praise them. What vast majority of people in this world are what? Catholics, Christians. They destroyed the saints and they put themselves on top. They got the blessing of the Most High. Now, this is why a lot of these books now have gone up so much. Who was the one that outfitted Columbus's second journey? Wouldn't it make sense that it would have been someone like a military person, or someone who takes care of, setting up things as far as coming over here and trying to live peaceably with the people? I would think it would be like a military person that would, if you're come over to another country, it'd be someone in that kind of capacity that plays that kind of capacity. But let's see who was the one that actually was responsible for setting up the people to come with Columbus on that second journey. Dogs of the Conquest, once again. It says in the Indies, and we know that's right here in the Americas, in our land, our promised land. In our promised land, Columbus had found a kind of Eden, whose natives, Hebrews, seemed to bend willingly to Spanish domination, because we already knew that they were coming. We had been foretold by omens that we needed to just bow the neck, do what we were told, because this was a punishment for us committing, adultery by going out and worshiping false idols. Thus he, in all probability, did not contemplate bringing dogs with him, even on his second voyage. The supplies and equipment of the fleet, however, were left by the sovereigns to the discretion of their personal chaplain, the shrewd Archdeacon of Seville, Juan Rodriguez de Fonseca. So hold on, you're going to leave, the outfitting of a expedition to the New World to a priest? To the church? That doesn't make any sense. If you're the king and queen, you should have some power, right? You would leave it to the church? If I'm going to take an expedition, or I'm going to try to go to the moon, would I go to a church and have them set everything up for that expedition? Of course we wouldn't. So why are they allowing, an archdeacon to be the one to set up everything for this next expedition to the New World? Because the church runs the world. That's why. The church is run by the devil, and the devil runs the world. The world is given into the hands of the wicked. The devil set up the church, and the church runs everything. So that's why you got this right here. The supplies and equipment of the fleet, however, were left by the sovereigns to the discretion of their personal chaplain, the shrewd Archdeacon of Seville, Juan Rodriguez de Fonseca. This prelate's perception of the true purpose of the venture. So he's telling what you want. They tell you what you want to hear in the books. Oh, they were coming to convert the natives. No, that's not what they were coming over here for. What did it tell you before that they were coming after? Look at 7. And I also saw gold and silver and silks and scarlets and fine twined linen and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots. Right? They're after gold. The desires of this great church is gold and silver, money. So when it says right here, the prelate's perception of the true purpose of the venture and his knowledge of the Spanish character made him keenly aware that the Renaissance crusaders would find dogs indispensable in a pagan world. The monarchs specified a kind of loving treatment of the Indians on Columbus's second voyage. It's kind of like when you have like a person that's, that's pretty much on the top of a company, who you just give him talking points and he just says certain things so the public thinks a certain way. They get like a like a positive PR, positive public relations. So, you have like a king and queen. Oh yeah, we want to make sure that we go with those natives and we teach them about Jesus Christ and we bring them into the fold. But that wasn't really what was going on. And continue. Columbus's second voyage and their speedy conversion to Christianity. At the same time, however, they stressed the settlement of the land, the organization of trade centers, and a careful garnering of material resources. Fonseca was aware that to carry out the second capitulation successfully, some compromise had to be made between desire for material gain and evangelical piety. Come on now. They were after the money. That's all they cared about. Such profits as the crown expected, he knew, would have to be obtained eventually by means of enforced labor, slavery, and human bondage. He surmised that though the natives might be as pacific as Columbus had described them, they would not adjust to manual labor without coercion. In consequence, he made certain that when Columbus's splendid fleet sailed in September 1493, it was adequately equipped with men, arms, and a pack of 20 purebred mastiffs and greyhounds. So he's sending out a war party. He's sending out a group to rape, rob, murder, steal. That's what he's sending a party out to do. It wasn't about converting them into Christianity. So like I said, you got your PR, you got your king and queen saying all these positive things about converting these people into Christianity. But the church, who's in charge really, knows it's all about the money, the profits. That's what they're there for. So now you got that whole thing with Psalms 83 again, how they've consulted, right? Psalms 83 and 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. These people have consulted together against the hidden people of the Most High over here in the Americas. Now we're going to get into some real good stuff right now. Okay? Now, I had ordered Christopher Columbus's Book of Prophecies. And I spoke of that last video, how I paid like, $90 right before I put the video out. And then the price went up like within like 5 to 7 hours to like over $300. So a couple days later, got my package, and I was hoping, to see the book that I had showed you guys 2 videos ago. And I opened it up and I got this book, which you could actually get for like $15, $16 on Amazon. So we know there's some shenanigans going on, and they don't want to give me my book. But the Most High already, took care of that situation. But I was pretty pissed when I first got this. I opened up my package and this is what I got. So, but I said, you know what, Father, I know that you do everything for a purpose. So I would have never ordered this book, but let me see what's in the book. When you have that Christopher Columbus's Book of Prophecies, this book was actually written by Christopher Columbus. So it's a firsthand point of view. So you're getting like what Christopher Columbus was really thinking at this time. It was a primary source, and it's funny how a lot of Edomites and people like always start to say, well, that's not a firsthand account or a primary source, and that's a secondary source, and this, and that. Well, check out what they were doing with Christopher Columbus's primary source. This is actually from the Christopher Columbus's Book of Prophecies, page 20. It says, books abound on the life of Christopher Columbus and the historical circumstances of the discovery of America. Nevertheless, little attention has been given to the primary sources. the writings of Columbus himself. That's weird. If we want to know what Christopher Columbus was thinking, wouldn't it make sense to actually go to his own writings and find out what he was thinking? But that's not what these people do. These people pretty much make up their own fantasy about what Christopher Columbus was thinking, and make up their own story, and don't even listen to what Christopher Columbus wrote about what he was doing himself. Again, it's really important. Nevertheless, little attention has been given to the primary sources, the writings of Christopher Columbus himself. I'm going to show you exactly why little attention has been given to the primary sources. This all goes back to Psalms 83 and their crafty counsel. So I said, that's why I know the Most High was in this. When he sent me this book, and at first I was upset, but then I took a little bit of time and really dug into this book a little bit. Because on the back of this, and the back of the other book, of the book of prophecies, there's a whole bunch of verses, Bible verses. And I was like, that's great. There's a whole lot of Bible verses, but how would I use this information? Well, then a couple of days later, I get this book, which pretty much shows me exactly how these verses work. I was like, oh, all right, now I get it. And if you don't really compare the two books, you won't understand what's going on. All right. Now, what's amazing is how society has worked, how society works. Like when you read the Bible, Paul's writings can be difficult to understand, but they're especially difficult when you have pastors saying things like this. Well, yeah, we know Paul said this, but he meant that. They're always acting like they're in the minds of the people who are saying things. That's like someone, if I said today is Friday and someone else later, like 20 years down the road or 100 years down the road says, yeah, Big Judah said today is Friday, but he really meant it's Sunday. That's the kind of things that these people pull. They have an agenda, so they have to twist everything to fit their agenda. Let me show you how they did it with this book right here. I have so many examples from this book. I mean, I could do probably 10, 15 videos just on this book and showing you the discrepancies between what this book says and what Christopher Columbus was really saying. But I'm just going to give you one because that's all I really need. You're going to see how Psalms 83, how we were all Psalms 83 to death over here. Because this is actually the same, not only in with Christopher Columbus, but in many other things. All right. Columbus, missionary to the islands of the sea. All right, Columbus was not a missionary to the islands of the sea. Columbus knew that he was being used to fulfill biblical prophecy. Columbus knew that he was being sent over here, okay, to fulfill biblical prophecy. Let me see here. Let me go to one of his verses that he has that pretty much shows you. Where is it at? Hold on. I mean, it's quite a few. But he actually used Baruch for one of his one of the verses that he used to justify what was going on, and it was pretty much bringing a nation from a far distance over here to destroy you. Let me find it. But yeah, so they are going to do certain things here, shady stuff, which they're pretty good at doing. A lot of shady stuff, hiding information. Just like what would happen when we went to church. How they would tell you only part of a verse, and then they would just tell you some stories. That's exactly what's going on here. But that's what's been going on for quite a while. Let me see. I think I'm almost there. Maybe. Let me see. I have notes all over the place. So what I'm looking for, there it is. Baruch 4 was actually on folio 40. All right, so just so you understand, this was on Columbus's own writings. This is in his book, Christopher Columbus's Book of Prophecies, and I showed it on 2 videos ago. Folio 40. So he put as one of the justifications for him coming over was this, that he knew he was being brought over here for this reason. Baruch 4. He brought a distant nation down on them, a ruthless nation, speaking a foreign language. They showed neither respect for the aged nor pity for the child. Now you wondering why these books and the Apocrypha have been hidden? Again, this is what Columbus was one of his justifications, and how he knew he was going to be brought over to the fourth part of the world that had not been discovered, because this was one of the prophecies that needed to be fulfilled that had not been fulfilled as of yet. So he wrote, he's our Baruch 4. He brought a distant nation down on them, a ruthless nation, speaking a foreign language. They showed neither respect for the aged nor pity for the child. This book is full of verses like this. So these guys knew exactly what was going on. They knew that they had not been allowed to come over here. They knew that Columbus knew that he was being called to come over here. And if he was being called to come over here and he was using verses like this, he knew he was being called to destroy the people that were over here. Maybe not him himself, but the people over there in Europe were going to be allowed to come over here and destroy the hidden ones. And they were going to do everything in their power to hide this information. That's your Psalms 83. That's what the United Nations talks about. How do we keep them from knowing who they are? How do we keep them from knowing where their land is? How do we keep them from understanding that we were just used to come over here and destroy them for a time? That's what they talk about. Let me show you how they do it. Check out this one right here. This was chapter 7 in the book that I got from the Christopher Columbus, his life and discovery in light of his prophecies. I want to say, I think that's maybe page 115. Let's see. Yeah, page 115. We're only going to take a look at the top. That's all we need to do. Listen to me, you islands. Hear this, you distant nations. So they said that comes from Isaiah 49 and 1. That's actually from folio page 32, the reverse side. Okay, from the book of prophecies. So if you only read this, you would think, oh, okay, listen to me, you islands. Hear this, you distant nations. Okay, I mean, Isaiah 49 and 1. All right, you would think that maybe that's all there is. This is the folio 32, the reverse side. And look at the bottom. It says Isaiah 49, 1 through 6. So they only gave you one verse, and they just kind of left out the other 5. So let's read that. Listen to me, you islands. Hear this, you distant nations. Before I was born, the Lord called me. From my birth, he has made mention of my name. He made my mouth like a sharpened sword. In the shadow of his hand, he hid me. He made me into a polished arrow and concealed me in his quiver. He said to me, you are my servant, Israel, in whom I will display my splendor. But I said, I am honored in the eyes of the Most High, and my power has been my strength. He says, it is too small a thing for you to be my servant, to restore the tribes of Jacob, and bring back those of Israel I have kept. I will also make you a light to the Gentiles, that you may bring my salvation to the ends of the earth. Now, that's 6 of the verses, but the key is what he wrote before this. In Isaiah 46, 10 through 13. Now remember what I just showed you in Baruch. He already knew what he was coming over here for. So he was giving you this other verse right here. My purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. From the east, I summon a bird of prey from a far off land. So that's your eagle that the German, I'm sorry, they're not the Germans, but the Greeks had used, the Romans had used, the Edomite nations had used. He's summoning a bird of prey. He's summoning these people from a far off land, a man to fulfill my purpose. Okay. And what was that purpose? Go back to Baruch 4, to destroy the people that were here. What I have said, that will I bring about. What I have planned, that will I do. The Most High has set out his plan. What he said he was going to plan, he's going to do it. The things he said, he's going to bring them about. Now remember, years before this, we've been getting omens over here that the Spaniards were going to come and destroy us. So we already knew what was going on. We knew that these people were coming. The Most High knew it. Columbus also knew it. That's why he's picking these verses and using these verses as justification for him being brought over here. He was for sure he was going to make it over here. Where others had failed, he knew he was going to make it because he had the Spirit guiding him and telling him that he was going to come over here and he was going to be a fulfillment of this prophecy. Let me continue. What I have said, that will I bring about. What I have planned, that will I do. Listen to me, you stubborn-hearted, you who are far from righteousness. That's talking about us. The things he said was going to happen to us because we didn't listen, this is what's happening. I am bringing my righteousness near. It is not far away. So he's bringing these other people. The righteousness is him destroying us for us breaking his laws. He's bringing it, and it wasn't far off. These are the verses that Columbus picked. Okay? And my salvation will not be delayed. I will grant salvation to Zion, my splendor to Israel. Now, that's what's going to happen at the end of our captivity to these people. So Columbus was well aware that he was fulfilling biblical prophecy, that he was going to be brought over here to fulfill biblical prophecy. But if you go back to these books that they use, they didn't make any reference to that verse right there. They only talked about Isaiah 49:1, picked that one verse and that was it, and leave out all this other information. They left out Isaiah 46:10 through 13. Columbus is telling you, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. That's the Most High. From the east, I summon a bird of prey from a far-off land. Now, that's your Nephi again. That's that Most High sending the Spirit to Columbus to bring him over here. This book of prophecies is full of verses like this, just like that Baruch I just read to you. He's picking all these verses about some nation being brought from far off over to a distant land and destroying the people. It's all over the place. So I'm sure he went and told the king and queen this. He was consulting with the priests. So he knew exactly what was going on. You see that? So now, he also knew that this was the beginning of final end days prophecies. How is that? Because this was our last captivity. At the end of this captivity, there's no, hey, you go back to your land, we'll go over to ours, and then you guys have an opportunity to come back and do this to us again. No, this is going to be it. This is when the Most High is going to crack those skies open, send everyone back to their lands. And he's going to restore us back in our lands, and he's going to protect us here. They're going to want to come back again. The Most High is going to bring them back. Just like he kept them away before, after he kicks them out of here, he's going to put those hooks in the jaws, is giving them their opportunity to come back here again. And they're going to try to come and take a spoil once again like they did before. But this time the Most High Son is going to stand up for us. You see how all this is now coming together. That's Psalms 83. They consulted together against our hidden ones to hide the fact that Columbus knew why he was coming over here. The fact that the Christians over there knew that this was an end times prophecy, and that him finding these lands over here and these people was a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. They were well aware of this, but they had to hide all this information from the world. So now they come up with, well, he was looking for a trade route to Africa, to Asia. Well, I don't know what biblical prophecy he's trying to fulfill, finding a trade route to Asia. He was trying to come and find, the promised lands, and that's all over the place too. I'm going to give some more examples of this later on. But Psalms 83 is when, keeping the fact of who we are away from us, and the fact that they came over here and they destroyed us on our lands and put us on our own lands and took the spoils of our lands. They try to hide all that information. They try to make it sound like there was no one, well, we killed everybody else off, so now it's our lands. The greatest, biggest secret is who we are, and that these are our lands, and that they were only brought over here by the Most High to pretty much make us jealous by destroying us and putting us at the bottom. All the prophecies in the Bible, are coming to fruition, are being fulfilled. This was the last captivity. And now the Most High is awakening men like myself and Elder Al Yul to bring us information. He's also using other brothers like, Karimio, UB News, The Drop, Lex Will, many others, Lil Moray. There's a lot of brethren, there's a lot of sisters too that are bringing out a lot of this information as well that the Most High is using. So the Most High has awakened quite a few of us to bring this information, this knowledge, understanding out to the people. So we can call our brethren back as well as the chosen Gentiles that the Most High has chosen to get this information back as well before all hell breaks loose. But you can see and from this folio, page 32 or the reverse side, they left out Isaiah 46. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they still do. Now they know that they've come to the end. I said I had read before a while ago is from the apocalypse of Elijah and how the people were upset with the ruler of this world saying, you lied to us. You made us think that you were the Most High and we followed you. And now look at us because we've been alienated from the Most High. We've been alienated from his people. You can't save us because you can't even save yourself. Now you understand why, because they've hidden everything. The people that the world is supposed to listen to are the Most High's chosen people, the ones that have been raised to tell you the truth. We can go to any book you want to go to and other books, and it's still going to relate back to our people and our struggle. The Book of Mormon has been huge in opening up so many more eyes to understanding. It's been the key to open up so many other books. I just wanted to bring this information today because, like I said, it all makes so much more sense now. What they're trying to hide, how they're using our own people. All these people who keep coming on a comment board or saying things like, no, man, we're going back to Africa. Prove it. Oh, no, all 11 tribes are over there in Africa. So, they want to be Hamites so bad. Yes, there are some of our people over there. There's some of our people in Asia. There's some of our people in Japan. There's some of our people in Europe. There's some of our people all over the place. That doesn't mean I want to go and have everybody go back to or go to, to Japan or to China or whatever else, because some of our people are there. I want to go to wherever the Most High has blessed our people with the inheritance. And it doesn't matter because that's where everybody's going. Everyone is going to go back to the lands of their inheritance. No, people are not going to have a choice. So if we originated here in the Americas, and this is the land the Most High gave us, that's what we're going to be getting back. If you were given the hot lands, that's where you're going. If you were given the cold lands, that's where you're going. You won't have a choice. What the Gentiles don't realize is that they were a rebound. They were the rebound in a relationship. If you're like the star basketball player at the school and you and your girl have been together for a while and you're maybe the girlfriend's friend, you're like, man, I would love to have my opportunity I want to be his lady. I want to be with the star of the basketball team. I hope these two break up so I can get my opportunity. I said I can be a much better girlfriend than she can to him. Well, one day they get into a fight and they break up. So the basketball player dude was, he was a little down and whatever else. And old girl sees her opportunity. She just slides right in. And, the basketball player dude, I said he's vulnerable. So he says, all right, man, I'll give you a shot. So the new girlfriend moves in, tries to come into the house and fix everything up for herself the way she wants things. And now she thinks like, I'm his lady now. I'm going to be his lady forever. Then the basketball player was like, you know what? You're nice and all, but I really miss my first girl. I said, she's my first love. So, I know you thought that I was going to stay with you and We were going to be together for a long time, but I don't want you anymore. I want to go back to my old girl. So that's where my heart's at, is with my first girl. So you're going to have to take your stuff and get on up out of here. And, she's all upset and leaves, but, she's like a spurned girlfriend, but it is what it is. And then the basketball player goes back to his first love and brings her back after, they were together, apart for a while. They realize how much they love each other and they come back together. You Gentile nations, you were the rebound. You were the one who just came in while we broke up. Now the Most High is turning his face back to the first woman that he was with, the one he really loves. We've learned our lesson, and we learn now to appreciate the Father, appreciate what he does for us. And we're coming back to him with open arms. That was the lie that the Gentiles have given to the whole world. The whole world thought that they were going to be the new woman now and they were going to be the new woman forever. But like I said, you were just a rebound. And the time of the rebound is about over. It's all coming full circle to make much better sense and understanding. You got a chance to kind of see just one example of how Columbus knew that he was being used, and they knew it was only going to be for a short time. If you really read your scriptures, you guys would know. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, I'm going to read a little bit of that as we finish up. Let you know that they knew that their time of being the real girlfriend or the girlfriend was only short. They knew that they were going to be the rebound for only a little bit of time. And then eventually the Most High was going to turn his eyes back to his chosen people, back to his first love. Let me get that real quick. Got to get the right app. Let's see here. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. Now, like I told you, the Gentiles knew that their time with the Father was only going to be brief. They just lied to the whole world, making them think it was going to be forever. It's like stay in your lane, know your place. Your place was never to be with the Most High, be his people forever. It was only going to be for a little while. For the ungodly, this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not all right. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be burned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. Our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. Right here we go. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Telling you right there, their time of being the Most High's chosen people was only going to be for a little bit. Let me read that 5 again. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. All right? Their time here on our land is fast sealed, and once they leave, there's no coming back again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. So they got to come over here and use all of our resources and us for a short amount of time. 7, let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this. So this is our portion. This is it. This is all we're going to get. So this, live life to the fullest. And they knew it. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Okay? So, like I said, they're going to oppress our people over here because this was their time. All right? Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy and transgressings of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Most High. He was made to reprove our thoughts. So they knew there was a difference between the people that were over here and themselves. They knew that they were getting our inheritance for a short amount of time. And they knew that once that time was over with, that's it. Game over. The vast majority of the world does not understand this. Where now our people are being raised up to tell you the truth, to give you the opportunity to repent, to give you the opportunity to throw yourselves down, at the head of the Father and ask him for forgiveness. You are now being allowed to hear the truth. You've been able to get understanding about all these different things that you weren't able to hear before, and cry out to the Father and ask for forgiveness, Jew, Gentile alike. He's giving everyone their opportunity to hear the truth. You weren't hearing the truth before because, many of the people who've been in this and been in the truth have only been giving you part of the story. The Most High has now raised up his people here at the end to be able to bring you more of the truth, to be able to connect the dots with the different books, to give you the true understanding of what the Most High's plan is from the beginning to the end. I pray that this lesson, cries or at the heart of some of these people, and you get a chance to hear the truth, and you get a chance to bend your knee, bend your face to the ground, and pray to the Most High, ask for forgiveness, and ask for direction. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.